All right, Hafaday, and welcome to another episode. I want to thank you guys for joining us and watching wherever it is that you may be watching. And we've got a packed Zoom house today. And you've probably seen the flyer. You've seen the information floating around out there. We're talking about the Rainbows for All Children virtual race that is coming up the end of March. And so joining me here, we have Marie Halloran. Marie, I've had you on the show many times before, talking about this very race in years past and what Rainbows does. Also joining us, we have Rleen and we have Christiana Williams. So welcome everybody to the show. It's nice to see you. There you go. Marie's got the poster for the race. And like I said, you always are very good about printing out flyers and posters, Marie.
Yeah, trying.
We're going to talk about the race. Again, early registration is happening. Late registration is coming up. So there are different windows for you to register. Before we get to that, I'd like to get into what exactly Rainbows for All Children is. When we have you on the show, Marie, we talk about the 5K, but the organization is year-round. It's always doing work in the community. So let's talk about what exactly it is Rainbows for All Children does.
Okay, Rainbows is a peer support group for children that have suffered a loss, significant loss of a loved one. Could be divorce, death, incarceration, military deployment, separation, or abandonment, or simply there's a life-altering crisis in the child's life. So it is site-based. That means it's usually done at the school site, and it is research-based too. So it has proven to work. So on KUAM, we have started since 1987, and we have touched the lives of about 21,100 children, families, and children and families. So what do we exactly do? How do we do Rainbows? So what we do is we work with the counselors. First of all, we need to have certified facilitators. They need to be trained and they need to know what to do. And these facilitators understand what grief is, because grief is very, very hard work. So you need to be able to address it in a calm manner. So we train them, and then so that we are all on the same page, and we just don't sit there not knowing what to do. So we do have journals, we have a curriculum, we have activities, so that every time we see the children, we talk about something. First of all, our mission is to promote healing so that the child could overcome this loss and accepting the present situation. One of the most important is letting the child know that no matter what had happened in their family, it is not their fault. Because usually kids internalize this, that maybe mom and dad got divorced because I did something wrong. So in the process of addressing their grief, they're able to overcome and accepting mom and dad are divorced, and we need to move on. And one very important cornerstone of Rainbows is forgiveness. We believe that not unless we are able to forgive the person that has hurt us, it is hard to move on, because it's like a big luggage on your back that keeps you down. So we do have, at the end of the year, we have Celebrate Me Day, wherein we invite the parents, even though, mom, dad, families, it's a big celebration for the child. And we do have the forgiveness session. We encourage the kids to write a letter to their parents and say, we forgive you. And we encourage parents to also embrace the child, and and it's a unity in harmony.
Yeah, and it's dealing with that grief that you mentioned that is, it's different for everybody. Everybody goes through and deals with things differently. So there's not just a playbook that, oh, the child is feeling this, well, tell them this and it's going to be fine. You really have to sit there and kind of sit down with children face to face, have these conversations. And Arlene, wanted to talk to you about that, being a facilitator in the time of COVID, where you're used to that face to face, you're used to sitting down, maybe doing some activities, having these meetings, as Marie said, but you just can't do that. So how have you guys had to evolve the program to fit the COVID needs?
Maybe I.
Yeah, Marie can address that.
Okay, one of the things that's pretty hard is because everything, when we do rainbows, everything is confidential. And when we do, because it's COVID and parents are there, so children are not very comfortable really sharing their inner self because they don't want to hurt mom or dad. So in the beginning, when they first meet, I explain. I tell the coordinators to please invite me in so that I could explain to the parents what it is. So I would politely tell the parents that this is how rainbows work. It's with confidentiality. And we would let you know if the child is hurting themselves or being hurt by someone. But other than that, could you please stay back and not listen to the conversation of the children? And most parents do understand that it's quite hard for the kid to really open their heart if the mom or dad is there. So some parents are very understanding. And because when we did it one time, the boy, he was like 12 years old, saying, "Mom, get out." You know,
yeah, sometimes it's awkward having these conversations with your parents, you know. It's just a relationship that, you know, as close as you may be, you don't feel like, oh, I want to talk about that with mom and dad. And, yeah, you know, you have these counselors, these individuals that you feel a little bit more comfortable opening up with. So, yes. Arlene, you know, you're a prime example of someone that knows what it's like to have someone go through the process and also help these kids. So you have a unique perspective. Let's talk about it.
Well, my first experience with rainbows, my husband at the time was married, and his daughter was in rainbows. And so she invited me to join her at one of the ceremonies. And, you know, I got an understanding of what they actually do. And I appreciated that because at that time, you know, the kids were going through a really tough time. And then later on, my husband and I got divorced, and I sought out Mrs. Halloran because I knew that the program was in our school, and I enrolled my kids, and it really opens your eyes to what the children are feeling because it allows them to express themselves freely. Because kids at that age, especially in the elementary schools, they're just going to tell you what you want to hear. And, you know, with my daughter and my son, you know, going through the program each year, and then at the end of the program, you know, we have the Celebrate Me Day, and, you know, you hear what they've learned and what they've felt and how they've grown in the program. It just makes you appreciate it because there are things that your kids feel that they're not going to tell you. You know, they're not going to say how they really feel about the situation. They're going to tell it to, you know, somebody they can trust that's not going to make them feel like you got to pick sides. So,
well, you as a parent, you know that, you know, your kid could have the worst day at school or the best day at school, and you ask them about it. How was school? Good. Okay. Yeah. Like they just, you know, it's kind of personal. And so was that a tough pill to swallow, maybe, that, you know, you have that relationship with your child, but there's just some things that they don't want to talk to you about?
It was personally, but I knew this was something they needed. I knew that I had to let them, you know, that opportunity to express themselves however they wanted. And, you know, knowing that they are in a very safe and confidential environment, and that, you know, if there was really any deep-seated issues that needed urgent attention, that they would let me know. But it was nice just to, you know, give my kids that, kind of like a decompression stage, where they can just go and let it all out.
Yeah, however they heal, however they grieve, if doing that away from you is the way to do it, then so be it. You just want them to be well and deal with this. And, we've talked about her, your daughter joining us here, Christiana. We've got a story to tell. So when we come back, we are going to get into that because it's nice to hear from someone that has actually been through the program. So we are going to take a break right now. We will be back with that. Don't go anywhere. All right, we are back. Thank you again for joining us. We're talking Rainbows for All Children, the virtual race coming up. But again, like I said before the break, it's nice to hear from someone who's actually been through the program. Marie mentioned over 21,000 people have taken part in this Rainbows for All Children, which is a staggering number. But we have an individual here, Christiana, joining us. Thank you very much for being on the show.
Thank you for having me.
Well, like I said, it's nice to hear from someone that's actually been through it instead of, the person in charge. Of course, they're going to tell you exactly what you want to hear. But Christiana, so this process, how did you get involved with Rainbows?
I remember my mom, talking to me about it. And at the time I was a kid, and being a kid and having to go leave your free time, because I remember it would be during recess time. And so thinking back, I just remember thinking, oh my God, I don't want to leave recess to go to this thing. And I don't even know anybody there. And I don't want to talk about my feelings. I still don't like to talk about my feelings, but, I have to go and talk to people about this. And, for a little bit, I would just kind of didn't really want to go. And then the more I stayed and the more my mom was like, you have to go, just try it. The more I realized that I got to meet other kids that might be going through similar situations and would just understand me a little bit. And so I always found that was comforting. And it's kind of funny because now I feel like when people go through certain kinds of trauma, they end up later on in life wanting to pursue different fields where they feel like they could help people. And it's almost like hurt people, but hurt people can also help heal hurt people. Yeah. So just taking everything that I've been through from my life, everything that I learned from Rainbows, I'm gonna cry.
Yes.
Oh my God, that was just
let it out. It's all part of the Rainbows process.
It is.
So would you say that mom knows best?
She does.
Okay. I just wanted to get that on record. Rleen, feel free to say that. So, and this is a perfect example, Christiana, of just that opening up and taking that first step is always the hardest. You said you're reluctant to go. I don't want to go. I want to go hang out with my friends at recess. I don't want to do this. But the more you kind of take those little steps, the more therapeutic you realize that it is, and dealing with these things. Obviously, these emotional, the burden may be with you forever, but just being able to deal with that, to cope and go on with your life instead of keeping it bottled up where, someday you're going to have some huge breakdown.
Yeah. So I'm actually, now that I've calmed down and I've let my emotions out, I'm actually going to be starting with the University of Washington in the fall, and I'm working towards my degree in sociology so I can be a social worker.
Wow. So just getting help, you've decided that, I'm going to make this my life to help others.
Yeah, absolutely. And, going through that program and just the whole experience with my parents' divorce, my brother and I went through it together, and I just always felt like I had to mother hen him because he was so young. And my mom's nodding her head. She knows to this day. I call him, I text him, what are you doing? How's work? Are you making your car payment? Just always checking in on him. And, I kind of felt like I spent my whole life being that way towards him. And now I can let him be because he's a big boy. And, now I can work towards helping other people and other kids, especially that, have been through traumatic experiences like my own, but, also kids who might have it even worse, and just being that solid person for them. Like we had with Rainbows, and, you know, thinking about it now, I really wish that here in Seattle, we had something similar to Rainbows, or even a Rainbows program. That's, I don't think we do as of right now. But I would have loved to get my own daughter involved in something like that, because her dad and I are separated as well. But again, taking everything back from the program and from my experiences, I mean, even with our daughter, she's 5. And, you know, I've made it a point to be very communicative with her dad. And, you know, we talk to her, we let her know that she can come to us, and just kind of trying to be that safe person for her too, if she feels like maybe we said something or maybe we did something that was out of line for her. Just taking those experiences, we try to give that back to her too, as a child.
And I think that's great. It shows the legacy of Rainbows, that not only did it help you through your childhood to kind of deal with this grieving process, but you've taken some of these examples, some of the lessons learned, and applied them to your own life. Right. You know, with your daughter, Rleen, you saw your daughter going through this. Now her daughter's going through this. So it's that ripple effect. And Marie, I'm sure you're super happy. And there are how many thousands of stories like this about people going through the problem, going through the program, and then applying that and helping their own lives.
I think the beauty of Rainbows is we see, because it's 14 sessions a year, so we are able to bond with the kids and we are able to grow together. And for each meeting, we do have a lesson that, you know, we have a curriculum. So we guide them through this healing process of grief. And by the time we graduate, or after the 14th session, we know the kids, and we know that they are more comfortable, they're more confident, their self-esteem has grown up. And most of them, just like Christiana, they become social workers. You know, I have somebody in Seattle, Anna James, who's a social worker there. I will connect you with her. She was also one of our Rainbow kids. I'll give you her number.
Okay. Oh, Rainbows for All Children, truly going international. You know, we're setting up the Seattle division right here on the show. So. All of this that Rainbows does throughout the year, it's, you know, it's nonprofit, it's from donations. So the big fundraising event is this virtual 5K. Marie, let's go ahead and talk about it, or Rleen, whoever wants to talk about it. Just with many other races, you had to go virtual. So this one coming up, early registration is now. Marie, give us the details on how people can sign up and what exactly the race is.
Okay. We actually this year, it's a little bit different, and we were not, wait, how is that? Wait, I want to make sure that it's, okay, I don't know how to put it there. Is it like that? Okay. I wasn't so sure whether I wanted to do it or not. Is it okay?
We'll put the graphic up over the video. You don't need to hold it, yeah.
So because of COVID, it's been very difficult. And then some of the the counselors over at the elementary schools were sharing with me that a lot of the families have suffered a loss. One family of 9 lost 7, grandma, grandpa, parents, and some siblings. Only 2 kids were left behind. So they said, maybe we cannot give up now. We have to continue on. So, but the only way is virtual because of pandemic, you know, social distancing. So right away I asked Rleen, were you going to help me, right? You know, so Rleen is so supportive, and all the other sponsors, just like Marie, your boss Marie said, oh, we'll help you. Just put your brain together. So, okay. So finally we have put it together, and this time there's no face-to-face. So there is a window of when you can do the race or the walk or the run. So there's early registration at Marks and Goodies Sporting Goods for $15. And late registration is $20. Early is from now, March 1st to March 12th. Late registration is March 13th to the 26th. And then on March 27, we're going to give away a 500 commemorative medallion to the first 500 that claims their finishing packets. This time we're not going to do like first place, second place, because it's honor system.
Right.
So they're asking me, do we have, I said, it's honor system, In your registration form, you need to show us a portion, and then just write the date you did, complete your race, and your bib number is very important because that shows that you are really registered. And then with the bib number below, we are going to have raffle drawings. So a lot of our sponsors are very good. Micronesia Mall is giving us $300 gift certificate. Foot Locker is giving $500 gift certificate. And we're still actively getting drawings, raffle drawings, Triple J. There's a lot. People are really, really good, that private sector.
Well, because they realize what a great organization this is. So anything they can do. And we know that times are tough for everybody. So we need a little happiness, a little fun. So make sure you sign up for the virtual 5K. All the information you need is up on Facebook. I know I've seen the flyer on social media. So that flyer that's there by Marie, go sign up. The information is there. Before we close out here, I'd like to get the final thoughts from you ladies. Rleen, anything you'd like to add?
I just want to encourage parents. I know it's difficult for them to hear, exactly what their children are feeling other than the standard fine. But they really need to go through this. It's an eye opener. It really is. And you will learn so much from your children, probably more so than they'll learn from you.
Even if they're not showing the signs that there's anything wrong, it's good therapy because they're just bottling up those emotions. Christiana, I'm sure you can agree with that.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, as a child who's been through the program and as a parent who, has two different households with her child now, parents, don't be afraid to give them that space. Because like my mom said, you're going to learn so much about them by giving them that space and allowing them to express themselves freely and get those things out, get whatever it is they might be feeling or might be thinking about, just being able to let it out in a safe space. And I think that's the most important thing to highlight is it is a safe space for your child. Virtual COVID times is kind of hard. So really allow them to give that space and your relationship will change.
Over 21,000 people have been through the program, so it's a huge success. Christiana, you're one of those success stories. Thank you very much for sharing that story. Marie, last thoughts?
Yeah, can we acknowledge the sponsors?
Of course.
Okay, for major sponsors, we have Santa Barbara Catholic School, the KUAM Daily Post, Dr. D Chiropractic Nutrition Service, Micronesia Mall, McDonald's of KUAM, KUAM Web TV, KUAM Care Force, ASC, DNA, Father Duenas Memorial School, Adas Mortuary, Pacific Daily News, K76, Tony Adam, Mobile, International Distributors, PIC, Capricciosa, Community First, ANZ, Triple J, RBI, Raymond James, First Mind Bank, Coral C, Select Care, Ernst & Young, Bank of Guam, Guam Financial Company, PFC, Coast 360, Moylan's Insurance, and National Office Supply.
All right, a lot of people coming together to make this possible, and you couldn't do it without them.
Yes, and this year we're more creative because money is very hard, so we negotiate. So we negotiate, yeah.
Well, we're looking forward to the race. Again, it's Rainbows for All Children. Early registration happening now until the 12th, and then you've got late registration. And on the 27th, that's when the official festivities happen. You could win some great prizes. Go sign up at Mark's or Goodies and take part. And of course,
most important, may I say something? On
Sure.
March 27 at 7:15, make sure to get your finisher's packet. So show your bib, and then after that, you don't need to be present to win because we need to social distancing.
Right.
So after you get your finisher's bib, you can go home and then watch live streaming Micronesia Mall. We're going to be drawing the center court, and you will know whether you're a winner or not. So that's so important that, you know, they need to go home afterwards.
Right. Yeah. Well, just another way to help out a wonderful organization. Ladies, thank you very much for being on the show. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Thanks everybody for watching. We'll see you next time.